Welcome to Talking That Talk official podcast. I go by the name of King Exodus, aka X.
What's going on with your boy Juice, aka my brother, aka Rising Terror?
Getting feedback on the studio.
We have feedback?
Yes, sir. Okay, so
Yeah,
get some music.
you get feedback. If you get good feedback from me, I'm saying.
All right, we can.
Okay.
We're cool.
Good, man.
All right, so first off, let me just say about 2 weeks ago, I went through some real shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
Real
if it's just allergies, sinus infection, or whatever. But we did a live stream. Our men are forgiven. We'll probably do the live stream on that one, maybe tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it works. I was very fucked up voice wise. Couldn't really talk, but I thought I was dropping some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I just couldn't not do it live at all. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. Are people really living in the real world? Okay, so this was pretty much influenced by a series of events that really just draw my attention to reality. And I'm like, yo, are people really living in the real world? So to kick it off, I would just simply say, let's say we know individuals as smart intellectuals that's smarter than the average person. They have the key components to be great, right? They're quote unquote woke, but they can't keep a job.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So it's like, is we really in the real world? Like, it's the shit that we learning, knowledge and information wise, is it cultivating us into a particular fashion to where we can conquer the real world? Some people get so smart that they're like, fuck the real world. Fuck money, fuck ambition, fuck it all. Because at the end of the day, it really don't matter. I don't think you're in the real world, bro. Because in the real world, everything's based off capitalism, currency. This kind of shit matters. And you have people that's so smart, their biggest excuse why they can't succeed in the real world is because they're so fucking smart. They're so far past the real world. So I'm like, okay, cool. If you're that great, you're that smart, you're that intellectual, but your real life don't reflect your intellect, why not just kill yourself? If you really just don't give a fuck about currency and the system, fuck the system. People say that, fuck the system.
Fuck the world, Craig.
You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, cool, but we still live in the real world. People still need to navigate throughout this system. Even though it may be corrupt, you may have disadvantages being black, whatever the case be. Is that an excuse for black people to just throw in the towel and just say, fuck the system? The odds are against me, I can't win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever we do to try, they gun us down. We don't want to mix intellect with defeat.
Ooh.
Man, I got my voice back, man. I got my voice back, man. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? We're not going to mix intellect with defeat. The two don't mix. Intellect is supposed to take you past that defeated mind state. So I just want to tap into that whole mind state of, are we really in the real world? To the smart people that's conscious and woke, we got knowledge, we spiritual, we got crystals, we got all this shit.
Crystals, man.
You feel me? We got it all.
Crystals.
We got sage, we got it all. We figured all the history out.
Yeah,
but we meditate, we tapped into the ancestors, but some kind of way we still can't use that information to navigate through the current reality that we live in. Shut up. Whatever you got on there.
Man, that was powerful, man.
Come out the gate hard, man. I couldn't talk for about a week, man. I'm talking.
Oh, yeah. So, get back into the topic. In the real world. The more I live, everybody has their own perception, right?
Mhm.
So when he was trying to break down how some people only smart in certain realms, certain worlds, it's because that's all they know, right? I know a person like, hey, look, the physical doesn't matter. It's all about what you do spiritually.
Mm.
And then people will be like, hey, look, you can believe that spiritual stuff, but we're in the real world. Everything starts now. Like everybody's real world is different to a point where there's a lot of conflict. Right? Even books I read on the same subject, one person's gonna tell you, hey, take your time. It's gonna come in time. The next person I read was like, you gotta do that shit. Yeah. What you waiting on? So they have the, you know what I'm saying, their world operate different. World operates in the state of now. Like, you got to make things happen right now. And one would be like, hey, look, time you got forever for it. And that's just about the reality of how things are starting to be operated. Is we keep getting worlds tied to a point people don't actually know what to do in certain situations. Right? Well, I read here if I just stay on this path, I can become this person. And then, well, I also read, like I said, so much information and sources out. That's when like technology can be somewhat disruptive to the mind. Right? You're so used to one thing and you're trying to do something else. It's going through a whole little hardware, a little brain freeze, a little lagging situation for all my gamers out there. But that's just something we got to be able to figure out when it comes to the real world versus what we think and what we believe from what is actually happening now.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. So another area I'll take the conversation into is networking. Okay, so we have people once again that are so smart, but they never attract people that's smarter than they are. Okay. And they never fit perfectly into the right circles in order to quote unquote manifest their desires. Okay, so now we got to tackle networking because if you are as smart as you say you are, powerful, you're a king, you're a god, whatever title you want to give yourself, if you can't attract other kings and gods, what the fuck are you? Clearly, you're not that because we live in this real world where, you know what I'm saying, where we go to old sayings, birds of a feather flock together.
No.
Right. Cock-a-doodle-doo. You know what I'm saying? And that's the real world that we live in. Like, if I could watch your circle, I could really find out a million things about you before I even meet you because I'm in your circle. You know what I'm saying? So we really take networking off the board. I know a lot of people that really think they may be genius in certain areas, no doubt. They may be great, above average. But if your circle isn't operating on that same frequency, I got to question how much do you tap into this frequency? And now we got to talk about flaws, but that we're gonna say that for later. But I just want to zone in on the networking part of the conversation. If you are as whatever you think you are, why can you not attract people on that same frequency? You know what I'm saying? Juice even told me one time he heard an individual or individuals say they never encountered people on their level.
Mhm.
That's problematic. There has to be a problem within self because something within self would allow you to encounter people that's on your level and even surpass you. That's the only way you're going to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Star Wars fan, as black as I am. You feel me? So Star Wars is based off the apprentice relationship. You know what I'm saying? You have the master, you have you know what I'm saying, the apprentice. The apprentice sometimes try to kill the master to take over the throne, and sometimes the master outsmart the apprentice. But all of these great leaders, right, have to be an apprentice to a great leader in order to step into that light. You don't just become great on your own. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's before you, nobody's ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Samuels talk about this shit a lot with women. He asked them, who's covering you? Who's over you? Who leads you?
Who's leading you?
You know what I'm saying?
Who's leading?
So it's a reason why we ask these kind of questions because sometimes you really can only be. Let's take it to the fitness world. Some people believe in the fitness world, your strength mentally and physically is only going to be based off of who's the strongest person in the gym that you've witnessed work out. So 315 can be the strongest shit you ever seen. So your mental capacity and physical capacity is based on 315. But if you grew up around fucking Hercules all around and they was lifting 700 pounds, your mind frame is going to think 700 pounds is the capacity, not 315. So you're going to be stronger than the people that only witness people lift 315. So
yeah,
I'm gonna shut up on that, man.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, think you do better.
Wow.
See, so within the brain capacity.
Wow.
Yeah, I do that.
This is the last episode. yeah, networking, man. What you got on that?
I mean, networking is definitely a strong key on. I do like the activities to do things socially.
Mm.
It can get a lot of things done fast. One of the biggest things I always say, like the key to your network or even the friendships that you plan at the time, like is big moments to know how what's your strengths and what your weaknesses are
Mm.
within a relationship, right?
Mm.
Imagine if I'm not really good at inviting people, so I attempted and nobody shows up. Is it
Mm.
because people are good inviting skills? I never built a certain relationship with individuals,
Mm.
and that's what I'm saying. Like relationship building with individuals is everything, right? If you have people who be like, man, I invited 20 people out, only 5 people showed up. Well, it says a lot, you know what I'm saying, about how deep and rooted the connection is, whether they have time or don't. I done met people who showed up late to birthday parties, late to weddings, or late, whatever it was, but they still made it a key factor that wanted to show up. Those are just like, I said, the bonds that you was able to create before anything was able to progress. Right? They always say like, hey, on a networking path, people want to believe like being alone is the best thing in the world. I say it's the stupidest shit in the world. Like otherwise you wouldn't have such huge populations.
Mm.
So if you was meant to be alone, then you should be the only person on this planet. That's how I look at things, right? That's why one of my favorite things I say I want mentors and guidance on an everyday basis.
Mm.
That way I know I need to attract people who's higher than me or people on my same level. And you learn like key aspects within that, especially with networking, right?
Mhm.
Like he said, you can be the smartest person in the room and like and not benefit off something.
Right.
It doesn't make sense, right? It's like the person would be like, yeah, I could have beat Jordan. He was hooping at the recreation all his life, being able to like put himself into the position of seeing how high he could follow through. Because they say
Mhm.
success is a social skill. In
Mm.
fact, I was
Mm.
talking with one of the higher ups at my job,
Mhm.
and he said we was talking about like hard work, right?
Mhm.
He said I realized hard work didn't matter once I got really social. He said once he learned social
Relationships.
and social relationships, he was able to navigate higher within that company.
Faster.
So that's everything. Like I said, you only can learn so much from yourself that you got to be able to trust yourself around other individuals. Who to question you if you never wrong? You know,
Mm.
who can question you?
Yeah.
That's the
All right.
low one.
That's the one. All right. So that's perfect to follow up into flaws, man, personal flaws. I also know a lot of great people that's smart, intelligent. They got key components, but they flaws outweigh their intelligence by far. And they fucking genius. You know what I'm saying? They go back to this whole debate culture. Like, I'm really not into it as much as I was previously.
He used to be bad
Facts.
at that.
Facts. Because debating people really is pointless because let's just say the shit you're talking about is within the 2,000 to 5,000 range of years of information.
Mm-hmm.
There's still other years of information you haven't tapped into. So if you're kind of debating somebody that tapped into 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 years prior, you know what I'm saying? You lost that. But a lot of people's ego tell them just because I know this particular amount of information, I'm automatically correct, and that's incorrect. You know what I'm saying? You have levels on everything. You have levels. You have you have to be honest with yourself on what level you could potentially be on. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be ground level, or just some people feel like if I'm above ground level, I'm automatically a master. No. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people they got umps on them, you know what I'm saying? They got the Eye of Heru and all this shit, and they talking about ancient Egypt, the Kemetu Uu, and it's like that's cool, that's great, but those people fucked with self mastery. You wouldn't shit unless you mastered self completely,
Right.
flaws and all.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So mimicking what they did to a particular fashion is cute, but the whole focus and goals is on self mastery. You never become in the suit until you can master self. You know what I'm saying? So I'll shut up on that note. A lot of us just really have to be in tune with ourself, conscious. You're conscious of who you are, flaws and all, not just your strong points. I hate having conversations with people, and the majority of the conversation is they talk about themselves. I hate it.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a baby.
I don't want to. That's cool, but I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that shit. let's have a general conversation that's even about. If you're talking about you, I'm automatically have a conversation past a particular point. I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about you or listening to you talk about you. You know what I'm saying? So I think those are signs that we haven't really mastered our flaws correctly. So we have to focus on our flaws. I know a lot of people want to throw in the towel in the real world because they really can't conceptualize their flaws. And
Mhm.
sometimes people think just because I tapped into a few of my flaws, I'm good. No, this is a daily practice. Daily, I try to find shit that's wrong. And that's going to influence how I interact with people within my close circle. Because a lot of people blow up their inner circle faster than anything else. You know what I'm saying? You're this great, iconic person, and smart and intelligent, but your blood and the closest people to you really can't fuck with you because you're too smart, or you're too great, or you're too powerful, whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? So I'll shut up on that note. Just flaws. What you got on there?
Mm. My favorite quote: "Improvements can be daily, daily."
Mhm.
We getting to a point where everybody feels like perfection is all in the mind.
Mhm.
Cool. I also say delusion is too. So, people are trying to focus on being too perfect
Mhm.
to a point where it messes with your subconscious and your conscious, like literally to a point where superiority is only in your mind, but your reality is still your love. Right? So
Right.
I don't know if y'all ever been in a situation where it could be the weakest person, or like I said, the weakest person, but he has the strongest mind out of everybody. Like, yo, he arrogant as a motherfucker, but he got it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But nobody wants to be around that person. So we got to learn how to learn and correct ourselves and our mistakes and be able to take in what is that? Eat the meat, spit out the bones.
Mhm.
Just a representation of the criticism
Mhm.
or the nugget that was in there, your nutrients,
Mhm.
to be able to move forward.
Mhm.
Self sabotage is one of the things that people. It's to a point where people will gloat about that and find it attractive, right? The other day I made a comment. I said, "Call somebody toxic is damn near a compliment these days." So you have people that you know what I'm saying that navigate towards chaos because they weren't able to move forward in what they were already doing. Yeah. Huh? Okay. I'm going straight, slight delay. But
Cool there. Cool there. So briefly, we already touched upon it, but I'll drive it a little further. Ego in relationships is very powerful because 50 Cent made a statement and they asked him, what is the most important thing in the world? He didn't say money. He said maybe people on Wall Street or some shit like that would actually say money, currency, right? But he said the most important thing is relationships, right? Because he said a lot of these people that's encountering all this money, right? The most fucked up thing they have is home. They still going through divorces. They still got, you know what I'm saying, all this shit going on. So the ego is very powerful in relationships because a lot of people feel like even if they're right, they're not wrong. So whatever they do in their relationship is justified. I call bullshit because the longevity of a relationship that's not toxic. Let's just keep it 100. And sometimes toxic relationships can still have good end results or benefits depending on your goal with the relationship and that person. That's up to you. That's subjective, very. You know what I'm saying? So if your ego allows you to fuck up relationships that doesn't coincide with your success or your goals, personally, your ego is out of control, even if you're right. That's just how powerful that shit can get. That's how real that shit is. Being right does not always make you right. You still could be wrong being right. But YG said, even when I'm wrong, blood, I'm right. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I
That's what I think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure even in my life, I tell the
I tell the
truth.
truth. You know what I'm saying? So being right should not tickle the ego so powerful that now we can justify everything. Because if the relationship fails and it's a relationship that can bring forth your goals and success, we got to go back and check that ego. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I tell a lot of people doing business, whatever the case is, networking or whatever, a lot of times being right becomes smaller in your maturity. It don't matter. What matters is, can I manifest something throughout this relationship, right? So if I don't get to the end result within the relationship, I failed, no matter how right I was. So I just wanted to put that out there. You got anything on that?
No.
All right.
Back to you, Bob.
Back to you, Bob.
Back to you, Bob.
All right, so next let's tap into the whole parenting thing, right? So a lot of people think that they're great parents and good parents, but they never really look at their offspring. You know what I'm saying? If the kid got fucked up grades, fucked up behavior, they're not interacting properly, we got to go back to the drawing board.
Mhm.
We got to put that ego to the side once again, look at what's in front of us, be in tune with the real world, and we have to move accordingly. A lot of people have such solid game plans that they never know how to adjust. I like talking to people about fitness because everything's about not plateauing, not hitting the wall.
Mhm.
The body gets used to the same shit over and over. So when you really stop seeing results. So you never really want to have that mentality within parenting. Some people already know how they want to parent so great and it's so mastered that it's a piece of shit work effort that's being put into that relationship with the child because the child instead of showing you that's not what it's going to take to get through to me. You know what I'm saying? So having premature plans sometimes can backfire in parenting because you really have to adapt to the child. So I definitely want to bring that to the conversation because sometimes a lot of people really have these parental methods in their brain based on their own experiences in childhood, and that's not what is going to actually work on your own child. Your child is different from you, even though they come from you, they're different. So, you got something on that, parenting?
No, I mean, I think that was very well breaking down. Yes, it is a powerful thing to ever do in your life. um, you got to be able to focus on getting past things, like he said, like when it comes to your ego or anything of that nature, right? You know how we always think about things in the future, right? You know, the one guy who like, I would have made that shot, man. Coach would have, coach, we would have went all the way. And you still think about like this situation when he's in school.
Mhm.
Now, he can then re-observe that situation, like, all right, see, this is what happened. My coach didn't believe it. Let me put that in my child. So he's instilling things from his past life into the life of his child now because he feels like that's going to be the best habit. But
Mhm.
we want to learn from other parents. I feel like we can all learn from each other, but it's tough. Like when I always see people say, you know, if that was my child, if that was my child, and then instead of learning how to take, you know, the cheapness or just see what goes out. Like some of us believe in spanking our kids, some of us don't.
Facts.
So
Right.
you gotta figure out what works best with your kids.
All right. So one of my lighter topics and last topics in the conversation, consideration. You know what I'm saying? You always got that one motherfucking traffic. On the way here, I dealt with that shit. I'm rushing. I'm a little behind. You know what I mean? I'm driving. I'm trying to get somewhere. Motherfucker stopped in front of me, hit their brakes, make a turn. Never once put on a turning signal. You know what I'm saying? That's a lack of consideration. You know what I'm saying? Some people GPS system is so locked in on where they're trying to go, it's like fuck everybody else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, whether you're driving on the road, you're working a job, you got a friendship, you got a relationship, you got any kind of shit going on, consideration is really lack nowadays. A lot of people really don't consider other people. And even on like, let's say a help me level, I don't exercise my potential fully. My ambition is a little weak. I throw in the towel, I give up. Right? I mean, now somebody that really give a fuck about me got to take care of me. They got to pick up my slack. So I'm not being considerate to other people that love me and fuck with me because I'm making their potential job harder because I'm not taking care of my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So consideration goes long. It's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? You're meeting up with somebody. You told them you're gonna be there at fucking 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You don't leave till 7:45. You know what I'm saying? You get there late. You really didn't consider that person's time. You know what I'm saying? You can be late and let somebody know you're running late. That's different. But a lot of people feel like, oh, fuck it, I don't even have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So consideration go a long way. And it's really rooted within communication first. You know what I'm saying? Besides giving a fuck about other people or the other person, what is your communication? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're in this culture where we text, a lot of shit can be misread. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you have to take the extra initiative to let people know, look, I know that text might have looked a little fucked up, but I really didn't mean that. What I meant was, you know what I'm saying? But people's ego and consideration really is not aligned. You know what I'm saying? So then they want to go back and point fingers and say other, and we got to get into that T word, toxic, within this conversation. You know what I'm saying? He brought it up early, but I feel like consideration is the biggest downfall. If I don't take care of my shit, that means somebody else that really rock with me is gonna work harder to pick up my slack. So we really don't consider shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we human, sometimes we fuck up, we make mistakes. So after you really don't show that consideration, what do you do to fix that relationship? Do you go out your way to tell people you're sorry, you apologize? Or do you have that ego, lack of consideration, and you feel like since you're so close to people, you don't have to apologize. You don't got to go out your way and make up that relationship. So I feel like that was something to bring up consideration.
That was great. That was great. You touching it today, man. I feel I don't even have to speak today. Man, go ahead, man.
Yeah, he's on fire. You know what I'm saying? NBA Jams. But
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I guess moving forward in the conversation, I would just simply say, man, look at your success rate in life, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest and make possible. If you really can't tackle that, you first have to look into self, and then you got to look into how does that uh, show its exhibition within your relationships. You always have to keep that in mind. If you're so great, you're so smart, you're so intelligent, you're so whatever, you're so talented, why can't you get to the next level? That's a daily question everybody should ask themselves. Whether you listening to 48 Laws of Power, the laws of human nature, you listening to personal development, you're going to therapy, you're meditating, you're changing your diet, you're going to the gym. Whatever you're doing, you always have to ask yourself, what can I do next to get to the next level? Who do I have to meet? What do I have to do to work on me so that I can get further in life? A lot of people want to point out the system. That's great. That's cute. But every day is somebody that beats that same system that you think is crippling you. So is it the system or is it you? That's the whole influence behind the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Is it the world or is it you? Can you really tap into the real world? Is that the problem? You're not in the real world. You're in your own world. You're somewhere else. So I ended on that.
Man, like I said, man.
But yeah, for sure, for sure. Like I say, you know what I'm saying? So I got my voice back. I've been a week. I couldn't talk, you know what I mean? So make sure y'all tap in with us. YouTube, Facebook, IG, Talking That Talk Official Podcast, Twitter, Talk That Talk 100. We got the TikTok, Talking That Talk Official. Tap in with us. We're probably most likely gonna go live tomorrow. Our Man Forgiven, gonna do a remix to it. Cool. We appreciate everybody that tapped in with us that locked into the live on the IG. So play the music, man.
All right, man. We out, guys.